What up?
Word,
This
what
is
it is.
fucking episode 61. My man Revalation, fucking Boston area. We've been fucking vibing for like a few years, and this is actually the first time we've spoken in person. You know, it's crazy. Like
I know.
it's weird because I mean, like,
it,
because you like my man. I mean, I don't give a fuck. Like, you my man. Like, I consider you a fucking friend. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, but this is actually the first. So it's funny. I realized I don't really know like so much about him, even though I talk to this dude every fucking day. Like,
literally, in one way or another, whether we're communicating in group chat or just DMing each other, sending you music, you sending me shit. You know what I mean?
working, man, working. Gotta fucking get it. Big up everybody in the show. This is episode 61, man. Revalation, EMS crew, Massachusetts, New England, and before we get into it, a couple ground rules. If you got questions for Rev, put them in. Use the questions feature down below, and then I can pull them up. We can see them. We can talk about it. Also, just like on the page, if you get any fuck shit, I will send your ass home with the quickness because we don't do that here. You will be gone. Even if you Rev's people, I'm sorry, man. You can talk to him tomorrow and be like, yo, why you kick me out? I mean, that's what the fucking cats be doing. Be like, yo, fucking, he was talking some dumb shit. So, because it's really hard to fuck with the comments and everything too. And you know what I'm saying? I've been tempted to turn them off, but it's
for sure.
But so yeah, man, it's funny that this is the first time we kind of really had a chance to build, and so I realized I was like, you know, I got a lot of questions and shit. So I want to know about Little Rev. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're gonna get into the Boston shit because I'm from Connecticut, and we're gonna talk about that whole area and stuff like that, and get into some of that.
Yeah.
I want to know about Little Rev. Like, what was it like? What were you like running around, fucking cutting up?
Yeah, man. So originally, I don't know if you know this. Actually, I don't know if we ever got into this.
You
but
from New York, right?
Yeah. So originally, I'm from the Bronx. So I grew up in the South Bronx, about like 15 minutes from Yankee Stadium, matter of fact. And basically, I was there till I was like 10 years old. And Mom Dukes, she moved out to Mass with my stepdad. And then I stayed living with my grandmother for a couple years out there in the Bronx. And then my mom ended up sending for me. She was just trying to get herself at the time situated. My mom had me young, you know what I mean? She was 18 when she had me. So she was like trying to still figure shit out. And she moved to Mass and she got herself situated, got a place, a job, started working and kind of saving up bread. And then she sent for me. But until I was about 10 years old, I was in the Bronx, and I was living with my grandmother for a couple of years. And my grandmother, she didn't speak no English. You know what I mean? She's straight off the boat from Puerto Rico. So that's how I learned Spanish. So I'm bilingual. So I learned it because I had no other choice. Like, because there was no other way to talk to my abuelita. She would say shit in Spanish, and I just have to figure it out.
Damn.
So that's how. Yeah. So that's how I was growing up. So I live like kind of close to like Prospect Ave, like right around that area.
Oh, you said near Yankee Stadium. Did they move?
Yeah, like not far from Yankee Stadium, probably like 15, 20 minutes, like, you know what I'm saying? And we grew up like, I grew up a Yankees fan. That's funny because I always get shit for it, right? Because I'm in Mass. I've been in Mass since I was 10, and I like all the other Mass teams. But when you're Puerto Rican and you grow up in the Bronx, baseball's like the first shit you're introduced to. You know what I mean? Like, we come out the womb with a glove and a stick or a bat or some shit.
Straight up.
So we used to play stickball and shit as kids. So I got into the Yankees early, and I didn't really fuck with no other sports probably until I was a teenager, to be honest. I always loved baseball. Yeah. I always loved baseball, man. That was like my first like passion and shit, like as far as playing sports. And then once I moved to Mass, I'd say probably about 12 or 13, that's when I started getting into other shit. And just by happenstance, because I was in Mass, the only shit that was on was like local shit, So I got into like the Celtics, I got into the Patriots. I know you hate the Patriots.
No, I hate the Celtics more than I hate the Patriots, son. Like, I'm a diehard Lakers.
That's fair though, because you're a Lakers fan. The rivalry, man, the rivalry is strong. I lived in LA, so I was going to the Forum at like
age 4 in 1980 and shit. So like,
Oh
it goes
shit.
back for me. Like I was there, like that
That's
shit is
what's up.
deep. So like, I fucking hate the Celtics, but I love Larry Bird. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
can't fucking.
Yo, I'll never forget when the Celtics had a chance at a second chip and fucking Kobe broke our hearts. That shit killed me,
Yeah.
dog. I was like, oh, this motherfucker did it again.
Yeah, nah.
I was hurting.
Yeah, you must get mad heat up there for being a Yankees fan, though. For real. I mean,
I did. Dot, no bullshit. So I met Dot in college. Dot used to give me shit, and he still does all the time, dog.
man,
All the time.
Fuck the Red Sox, man. I fucking hate them. Yo, like,
Word.
like, nah, I'm a Yankees fan too, like, and partial to the Indians because I spent mad summers in Cleveland with my dad. So, like, I used to watch them just get their asses handed to them all the time. So,
Okay.
when they started getting good, you know what I'm saying? They still can't win shit, but yo, fuck the Red Sox though, yo, for real, man. Like, fuck them. Yo, Doc, when you get on, yo, I will make sure we edit this. We don't edit this shit out. Like, fuck the Red Sox, M. Dot. You know what I'm saying? For real, son.
Yo, but the thing is, right? As much as I fucking love the Yankees and stuff, I respect it because I know what it's like as far as like fans. Because when I was in college, that's when these motherfuckers won their first World Series in like 80 years. So I was in college and I got to see that shit play out. Now, obviously, I got a ton of shit, you know, because they're like, oh, yeah, we in the World Series. They were talking a gang of shit to me, right? So especially when they came back and they were down like 3-1 or whatever it was, and they came back, they ended up winning. But when that shit happens, I think it was like 04 or whatever. I was in college. Yo, the fire lane at the college was flooded, bro. They had fucking police coming through with beanbags shooting people because people was lighting couches on fire. It was nuts because, you know, it was the first time in 80 years and people were going crazy, man. So I respect it, but still, fuck them. You know what I mean?
Man, they goofy, man. Think Bill Buckner and shit. Like, they goofy, yo. Red Sox goofy, man. And listen, I don't mind it.
But I like all the other teams, man. I won't lie, because I grew up with it, like. So you know what's funny is, right? I'll get into a story real quick since we're talking about the old days. So with the sports shit, right? I started playing football, right? Like when I was like 13, 14, like doing like, you know, backyard football. Then eventually I started playing it like in school, junior high school, high school. But when I was watching football, my step pops, he was a huge Giants fan. Huge. Fucking, you know, bled the Giants. So when we moved, you know, when we moved out to Mass, right, he couldn't really get none of the Giants games on TV. It was always the fucking Patriots games. So he started watching those by default because remember when Parcells took over the Patriots? He left the Giants. He ended up going and taking over the Patriots. So he liked Parcells, so he just started watching the games. He's like, man, this is the only shit that's on, and I want to watch some football. And it was hard to get Giants games. You know what I mean? There was no fucking satellite dish package, you know. There was no red zone.
You had that NESN network too. Everything Boston out there, you know. They fucking
there was no other way to watch like games if you like somebody outside of the region. So he started watching
New York shit either.
Nah,
fuck out of here.
Not in this area. Not in this area. Unless they were playing that team.
Right.
Unless it was like, you know. So he started watching that shit, and I just started watching it with him. And then I just grew into a fan. And then basketball I got into like later on. Like friends, like I would go to the b-ball court, we play, and then fucking people would be like, yo, you see that Celtics game? And that's just how it started.
No, I don't. Actually, to be honest with you, I don't mind the Patriots. I mean, I like winners, yo. And I didn't give a fuck about the Spygate shit, none of that shit. I was like, yo, these motherfuckers nice shit. And everybody doing this shit, they just got caught. Fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? And I was happy. And I was happy when Brady left and won this shit. I was like, because everyone was saying it was Parcells. And I was like, get the fuck out of here, yo. I was like, yo, when Brady had Randy Moss for 1 year, he was due for 50 touchdowns. This dude was.
I know. Yeah, you know what? I was happy for him too because I was looking at it like I feel like his legacy wouldn't have been the same if he didn't go somewhere else and win it. Like, because people were saying he was a system QB. They were trying to attribute everything to Belichick. And Belichick's great, don't get me wrong, but like Brady's like, that motherfucker's a different kind of animal, bro.
He took like the same dudes, got a couple dudes, took Gronk off the boat, partying with some fucking tequila, and they won this shit, made Antonio Brown revive. Do you know how many niggas owe Brady Yo, Danny Amendola, who the fuck was Brady throwing to, son? Wes Welker? Who the fuck is Wes Welker? Danny Amendola, Jabbar Gaffney, son? Get the fuck out of here. Yo, he put motherfuckers' kids through college, son. Like mad motherfuckers. Oh, Brady, a ton of shit.
Yo, he was throwing the janitors for a while. Like he fucking dude straight off the street and shit.
Chris, who that Chris, I don't even know the motherfucker's name. He throwing the fucking zombies, son. Like,
yeah.
He the GOAT to me. That's why I said when he went, it's like, motherfucker got 7, 7.
Yo, it's crazy to even think about that shit. And the fact is, like, I tell people, because I was a fan, when I was like 12, 13, so they sucked back then. You know what I'm saying? There's even before they got Bledsoe and shit like that. They had like fucking like Scott Zolak and like people like that. And they were trash, Then they drafted Bledsoe. They started moving in the right direction. They made the playoffs and shit. And then they got to the Super Bowl, and then Green Bay fucking trounced them. That was when Desmond Howard had like 2 kick returns for fucking TD.
Right.
So I've been a fan since back then. And then when they got Brady and shit, and they started winning, I was like in disbelief, dog. I couldn't even believe it.
All right, so let's get into this Boston shit, because this was like kind of next to my list, man. So I'm from Hartford. Sure. I got a love-hate relationship with Boston in general, like the sports shit.
So you're a New Englander then?
Yeah.
In essence.
Of course. But so it's weird because Hartford split. Like, it's weird. So the farther up north you are, it's like, so Hartford split. Like, it's between like Boston influence, New York influence. I moved. I moved down to Connecticut's small, you know that. So I moved down to New Haven, which is an hour from New York. So it's totally different vibe down there. The closer you are down there, it's
right. Yeah, I've been to New Haven a bunch. We've done some shows and shit out there.
Fryer, fucking so Doug Flutie was on that motherfucking team for a minute too. But so it's weird. So the
shout out Golden Crates.
So I partied a lot in Boston. I got people up in Boston. It was a b-boy crew I used to chill with that was from Connecticut. Lost Unknown b-boys. They was up in Boston for days. Bunch of cats up in Boston, Cambridge. I party up in Boston a lot. Got mad love up there. Like, met some good people. But at the same time, like, Boston got a reputation for being racist as fuck, man. Like, so like,
for sure.
So there was a professor there one time, a Harvard professor, a black professor, who he bought a crib like somewhere out in like fucking out Braintree somewhere, and he got locked out of the crib or some shit, or he was going to see his crib. He hadn't moved in yet. And then the neighbors called the police on him. He got hemmed up at his own fucking crib. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, it happened to like some few Celtics players too, actually. So same type of shit.
Sure.
So what's the deal with that, man? You know what I'm saying? You also being a person of color and shit like that. What's the deal out there? Because I've chilled in Roxbury. I've chilled out there. I mean, but you know what I'm saying?
Man. So it depends. It depends on where you at. But I mean, honestly, like, I think it's tough to say, because like if you in the hood and shit, it's different. You know what I'm saying? Like, depending where you at, if you in like the suburbs, the outskirts of Boston and shit like that, then it's probably a little bit like worse there. You know what I mean? Like the discrimination and shit like that. But if you in the hood, it's like any other hood, to be honest. And it's like it really does have a mixture of people, you know what I'm saying? But it's like everybody's kind of in their own groups and shit. Like Italians are with Italians, Puerto Ricans are with Puerto Ricans, Dominicans. Like, you go to any like major city, right? Everybody kind of clicks and sticks together. And Boston's similar in that sense. But I think the reason it gets like such a, I guess, a bad rap, if you will, there definitely is like a racism ingrained, I guess. But I think that comes from the fact that, going back, like, way back when, like, you know what I'm saying? Boston, if you look at it, at its core, predominantly like white in a lot of like the major areas, like a lot of Irish Americans, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like Catholic and stuff like that. But
town, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I think when you look at that aspect of it, I think that's where it gets the bad rap. But I'll be honest with you, man. Like a lot of people, they just if you're from New England and shit like that, like people here, they have a certain way about them, and you could tell somebody else is from New England or they're from Mass and shit like that, and there's sort of just like a unification in just that. Do you see racism and shit like that sometimes? Of course, but I don't think it's any worse than anywhere else. I just think it gets a little bit more publicity because of the history, like where it was back then. But I don't think it's so much like that now, in my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a little bit different now, but I don't think it's anywhere like greater than anywhere else. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
I think anywhere outside the hood, you're gonna go through similar situations. If you're in a suburb in fucking Indiana, you're gonna go through similar shit too. You know what I mean? I have. I know. Like, so there's some shit. I'll tell you a story actually, real quick. So we performed at a show. Like it was actually like literally in Boston, outside of Government Center. Right, in Boston, and the mayor he basically like got us on the show, right? So it was MDOT, EMS, there was like fucking literally like 20 or 30,000 people. So the bill, it was MDOT and EMS, Ryan Leslie, the R&B cat, because he went to Harvard, and then it was Wiz Khalifa, and this was the time where Wiz Khalifa had just dropped. I think like his first mixtape, and this was right before Black and Yellow, right before he exploded and shit. But there was mad people there, right? So we did this show. We fucking went in, we killed it. We had a live band. So we had a live band with a DJ, right? So you usually don't see that. Either people do one or the other. So we had the live band with drummers, a guitarist, we're spitting, and then we had the DJ cutting during the set with the live band. So they're hitting the drums and he's cutting. So it was nuts, right? So then after the show, we're all hype and shit. We're going down to where where we got the merch and shit at, right? So fans are coming over. They're trying to come like to where the gate is. There's like a little barricade, and fucking the police are all over there. They're giving us some shit, dog. And they're like, yo, they ended up fucking yoking. They grabbed up MDOT, right? Because fans was trying to come over the fence, and MDOT was just trying to greet them, and they grabbed him up, and fucking the cop was just being mad belligerent, and it was like a white cop, and MDOT's white, so it don't even matter. They just put him down like anybody else, dog. Threw him down, putting his face into the ground. So that just goes to show you, it doesn't even matter like skin tone. Like honestly, I think more so than anything, it's like a class thing. You know what I mean? Because they see MDOT, he's all tatted up. You know what I'm saying? He looks like he looks like a delinquent when you look at him, but he's a family dude, But like the cops, they're just looking at optics. So they're seeing us, you know what I'm saying? They see a bunch of dudes, like black dudes, Puerto Ricans, dudes with tattoos, like so right away they start swarming that area. So, I guess the experience more so I think generates from probably the police, you know what I mean? I think the way they deal with minorities and stuff like that, I think that's where that stigma comes from. But as far as everybody else, I don't even think it's that bad, to be honest, from my personal experience.
Well, no, I feel you. I mean, I've always gotten love out there, man, in that area. I mean, I've partied up in Boston mad times. I got mad Boston stories like for days. You know what I'm saying? Cops from Adidas up there, like, you know what I'm saying? So. And again, yeah, I'm from New England, man. So like Boston, Providence, the fucking, you know what I'm saying? That whole, like, we don't get our love like that. So, I say I rep that shit hard. You know what I'm saying?
It's true,
fucking,
man. Like, it's true. They sleep on New England a lot, man. But New England got so much talent.
We got to fight for that shit. So it's all right, though.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? It's all right. So
I like it. I like the underdog thing. You know what I mean?
Fuck it, Joe. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. It's like I rep it till I die, man. I'm from CT. That's what it is, man. And we do what we do. Like fucking. So, and that's why people sleep on like even like that's why I mentioned like Providence, yo. People don't understand, yo. You go to Providence, yo, you get fucked up, yo. Like quick.
Yeah, man.
Quick, man. Cats get it.
Yo,
they get it.
It's serious, yo. They think because Rhode Island's like a small state, but Providence gets busy, man.
They get like, busy, yo. The Providence, I did research, the Providence like mafia goes like back, like way back,
Yeah,
yo.
yeah.
Like the mob is,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
you know what I'm saying? People was laying like CT and spots like even like fucking New Bedford, Brockton. These spots,
Yeah,
people
yeah.
fucking lay low there, like to fucking to get out of fucking New York.
Yo, so it's funny you say New Bedford because that's where I grew up predominantly. So when I was 10, that's where I moved. I moved to New Bedford. So I've been in New Bedford most of my life. And New Bedford, low key, it's known for two things. It's known for fishing because it's like the major fishing port, and it's known for fucking violence, like real talk, like just shit, just going down, you know. And granted, it gets a little bit of a bad rap sometimes, but there is a lot of shit that goes down here for sure.
I've
You know what
heard,
I'm
yo.
saying? There's some Brockton's another spot too that they get busy.
Yeah, people like that's the thing. A lot of these spots in New England are spots where people dip from. I mean, they go bounce there because they don't, you know what I'm saying? Cats got warrants. All right, let me go set up shop here. You know what I'm saying? And then you're right off of 95 with all these spots, right off the highways and shit. Boom, boom, boom. You can fucking, so, you know what I'm saying? But they realize it when they come. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, come. They'll see.
Oh yeah.
Yo, so
oh yeah.
As far as the hip hop shit goes, though, talk about you getting into that shit. Like that was mainly in Boston, right? So like, talk about like that whole beginning for you.
Yeah, man. So like, I mean, I've been doing it. I've been like fucking with just like hip hop in general, like writing, like probably since I was in like junior high school. I started writing like, you know, it started as like poetry and shit like that, you know, just rhyming words and shit like that. I was really big into Pac when I was younger. Like Pac was like one of those dudes, like for some reason I was drawn to him because he was like, not even so much just the music, but like the way he carried himself and shit. And like the way he spoke, he was so well spoken. And like you would see him in interviews, and he was always dropping knowledge in interviews and shit like that. And he was a contradictory cat. Like he did a lot of things differently and you know, whatever, but he always tried to drop some gems in interviews. And when I watched his interviews and shit like that, I always heard him mentioning like poetry and shit like that. So I remember he had a book. I think it was called The Rose That Grew from Concrete, I believe. And it was like a book of poems and shit like that. And I read that book and I just got into like poetry and shit like that and writing stuff down. And then that just kind of turned into just rhyming. You know what I'm saying? Like I started hanging around friends and we were all listening to hip hop and motherfuckers would just cipher and freestyle and just fuck around. And like at first I wasn't serious about it. I think I got more serious probably when I got to college and I met EMS. That's probably when I got more serious. So probably about 17, 18, I met M-Dot and I met Mayhem. And that's when we made EMS. And we just started from there. We just started doing shows and doing shit like that. And that's where the Boston scene really, like, that's kind of where we first kind of like just like broke in and kind of got our name out there. We just started opening for anybody we could. So anybody that was like coming to town, we would try to see if we could open for them to just try and like get our name out there. And that was back when, you know, motherfuckers was selling tickets and doing all that. Like, so we were just grinding. We didn't care, you know, we were like, whatever, fuck it. Give us 50 tickets. We'll get rid of them bitches, you know, because we were in college. So we had friends that, you know, would come to the shows and shit. So it was easy for us to just hustle that. And, you know, from then, that's kind of how we build a name in the scene. And, you know, we just started just doing as many shows. I think one year, I think it was, I can't remember the exact year, but it was like probably like 07, 08. We were on a heavy grind, and we did probably, I want to say like 150 to 200 shows that year.
Wow.
Somewhere around there. Yo, we were literally doing like 2 or 3 shows a week, sometimes more if we could get more. You know what I'm saying? From little spots to like opening for big artists, like whatever we could do, open mics, and just doing that kind of got us like seasoned with it. So we got real familiar with the Boston scene and knowing like, you know, what promoters to fuck with and who to reach out to and shit. And that's kind of how we just built it up.
What's the Boston scene like for you? What's your experience? I've heard a lot of different things about it. So what's it What was your experience like?
Honestly, it's a dope scene with a lot of potential, like a lot of potential that is very underrated. I think there's definitely a competitive nature to this scene, just like any other scene where people are trying to, like, you know, up and comers are trying to crawl their way up. But I think sometimes in Boston there's a bit more of a crabs in a barrel mentality. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
hear that with
like,
the smaller
you see,
cities, it seems like there's more beef even in the smaller spots when there should be more
yeah,
unity.
right, and you know there is unity, but like I think more so it's like that the competitive nature sometimes. Like when you see one person doing good, sometimes it's like, oh well, you know, that should be me. And I think sometimes that mentality carries over. I think you know there is unity, like especially amongst like some of the older cats. I think they're trying to school the newer cats, but you know, the newer cats, I think they're just, everybody's trying to do their own thing, and there kind of has to be a little bit more. Like when we were coming up, we came up in a weird time because it was like right at the cusp of like where you had to be nice to get into a studio and shit like that, or you had to be nice to get on stage. And right at the dawn of the internet. So we were like right in that middle area. So this was right before like YouTube and all that shit was prevalent. I think at the time it was like we were on like AIM Instant Messenger, like sending people music through, you know, on MP3, you could attach a file. We were doing shit like that. So I think now it's easier for artists to push themselves out there so they forget about like the unity, the networking. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could do everything yourself, so why do you need anybody else? But you know, there needs to be like a certain type of camaraderie and a certain type of like unity and working together, because you know what, like that's what builds the whole scene up. You know what I mean? Like one person gets up, they could pick other people up. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's how it should be, and I think we're getting to that point. There's a lot of people from Mass that are like making noise now, you know what I'm saying? On like a real like big scale and shit like that. And there's so much underground talent too. But I think as far as the scene itself, it's a really dope scene, man. It's very underrated. It's very hip hop. There's a lot of fucking like real spitters, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
People that care about the craft, you know?
yeah, there's some dope Well, I mean, my shit was mainly the dancing shit, so there's some dope. I met some dope ass dancers out of Boston, like fucking
Oh hell yeah,
retarded.
hell yeah! Yo, the b boys be heavy out here too. Like low key, like a lot of times they don't get. Like matter of fact, what was it, like 2 or 3 weeks ago? I want to say, I wasn't able to go to the show, but M-Dot did a show. It was M-Dot and a couple other members from EMS. They opened up for the Floor Lords from Boston, and they were celebrating their 40th anniversary. They've been around just b-boying for like 40 years, you know what I'm saying? Like way, like, you know, back in the day when hip hop first started, before it really took form. And yo, it was dope because fucking I was seeing footage and people were just having a blast. Like it's like it was like in a it was in this place called Big Night Live, which is part of like what used to be the Boston Garden, but now it's like they have like, you know, little clubs and little things in there. And it was a dope spot. It almost looks like a fucking art gallery, and motherfuckers was b-boying in there. It was dope. It's dope to see shit like that, especially in this day and age.
Yeah, no doubt. Yo, say car.
Car?
Yeah.
I don't have the accent.
Thank fucking God.
I don't. I know. Yo, M-Dot though, he has it.
I know, and I know.
Yo, mad thick. He's Boston through and through. But me, because I got here a little bit later, no. I don't have it. Yo, if anything, motherfuckers be saying, yo, you want to hear something funny, dog? You'll love this. I know it's your boy. Motherfuckers be saying I sound like Fat Joe all the time. That's what they say. I don't know. I don't hear it personally, but.
Nah, I don't hear that.
That's what I get.
I don't know. I don't hear that at all.
You know what it is? I think it's because I'm a big dude. I'm Puerto Rican and I'm from the Bronx, so automatically that's like what they think of. Man, you know what I'm saying? They think of Fat Joe, fun.
God damn it!
Yo, it is.
And it's full of Puerto Ricans, and it's full of big Puerto Ricans because y'all eating that good shit. So then, what the fuck? Of course, it's gonna be a lot of big Puerto Ricans from the Bronx. Come on, man. People be saying some stupid shit, man. For real.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yo, who was like your like as far as like them coming up? Then like, who was your like other than Pac? Who was like your hip hop like heroes as far your rap heroes? Then like, you know what I'm saying?
So like growing up, my first experience with like any type of hip hop was from my uncle. My uncle, like before I was even old enough to understand like what rappers were talking about and shit, I was probably like 10, 11 years old. My uncle was getting tapes and shit, and he would play me like Tribe Called Quest. He would play me like KRS-One. He would play me J. Rue the Damager. He would play me all, you know, he had a real eclectic taste in hip hop, and he would just play me like all this different shit, you know, like, yo, check this out, because he was just excited to show somebody. And my uncle, he's like 4 years older than me, so we were close in age. So anytime he got something that he deemed dope, he tried to put me onto it, you know, and then I just started getting into it. So that was like my first experiences, was like Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul, KRS-One.
Salute to the dope uncles out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he was playing me like Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, what else? Fucking matter of fact, I remember talking to you about this recently, actually, because you made a post. When I was first hearing like LL Cool J and shit, I was hearing LL Cool J on the radio. So I was hearing like the radio shit, like the love songs, because he was trying to make money by then. He was already famous, right? And then my uncle was like, nah, you got to listen to some older shit. So he started playing me like some older LL when he was like going in, like, you know what I'm saying? And his shit was like hard. It was hard. It was before he was trying to like get that radio love. So I was like, oh shit, I didn't know. And then after hearing that, I started like, you know, I started listening to other cats and like trying to check out like people's back catalogs, you know what I mean? Because I was like, yo, maybe I didn't give this dude a proper chance. Let me go listen to like some of the older shit. And then, you know, I discovered a lot of gems through that, you know, but that was my first experience.
Yeah, no, that's dope. Salute to the uncles, man, that put us on, man, the older heads, man. You know what I'm saying? Because, like,
for sure,
especially, you know, like, you got the, because so, like, you got that, because it's critical, because a lot of cats, I mean, I'm not sure how, you're like, you're a little younger than me, but, like, a lot of cats that are in their late 30s only got the 90s shit and after. Like, so it's really critical, and it's dope that you got that 88, that 87 shit too, because that takes us there. Yo,
and the thing is too, my uncle, he was big on a lot of that shit too. So when we were growing up and shit like that, he was always like real big into like Boogie Down Productions and shit like that. Because obviously that was where we were from, you know what I mean? We were from the South Bronx. So that shit rang throughout our whole area. So he was really big on that. And I remember him always playing that type of shit, but also just everything. He was like a hip hop connoisseur. He still is to this day, man. He put me onto a lot of dope shit. Like I'll never forget when he first showed me Helter Skelter. I was like, oh man, this shit is crazy. Boot Camp Click, Helter Skelter. I was like, yo, this is nuts. And he was the first one to ever play me anything like that. Yeah, I mean, he was always up like ahead of his time as far as like catching like the new shit that was coming out. He always had the mixtapes and all that shit.
So you had the pipeline, kid. You had to connect. You had to connect. Yo, did you make a fucking drum and bass EP? Because I'm on your Spotify.
No.
And
nah, yo. So what it is there's a couple revelations out there, but there's one that's like Jamaican, I think. And I guess he's fairly popular, and they're always mixing up our shit. So I constantly gotta email fucking Spotify support all the time. Like, yo, remove his shit from my
it's not bad actually. I mean, I like drum and bass, but it's like a light drum and bass, and I'm like, huh, okay.
Yeah, no, they always do that shit, man. They always mix me up with the Jamaican cat. He had this one shit I'll never forget, right? I went on there and I was just like looking at my stats and shit, like trying to see where plays were coming from, because that's how we organize tours and shit, trying to see where people are listening. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck is this? I didn't release that like this. And it was like, he released some joint, I forget the name of it, but it had half of his face and then the other half was like a lion, and then he had the Jamaican flag behind him. And I was like, yo, this ain't me.
Oh shit.
So I had to hit them up, and they ended up switching it. But the shit had plays though. It had a lot of plays, so he must have some type of fan base. So that's why they're always like, the shit's always getting confused, I guess.
Yeah, you gotta hit him up again then, cause
yeah, he's on there.
Nah, it's a drumming. It's some shit on there now. It's a hold on. It's called The Moon. Revalation. Yeah.
God damn.
Oh, I play it.
He's back at it. He's back at it.
I'm gonna play. Nah, it's not. I don't think it's that same artist. Hold on. Let me see if it's still on.
It might be a newer. Yeah. It might be a newer track.
Yeah, somebody else. It's an EP. Came out in 2021.
Oh damn. Yeah.
I mean, listen, I like drumming. I actually like this shit.
It's interesting. It's interesting. It ain't me, but it's interesting.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I listen to shit like this, and I'm like, okay, we're branching out and shit. Like that's what up. Like what the fuck? Like,
nah, I leave that shit to M Dot. M Dot's he's the beat maker, man.
Yeah, well,
he does the MCing and the beat making.
Yeah, no, he stepped it up during the COVID. Yeah, but yo, I guess you gotta hit him up again because it's The Moon. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to get that removed so people fucking
yeah,
they'll be like, yo, what are you doing?
Yeah, no, that's what it is. So I figured I'd ask. Yeah, so that was one of my questions. Yo, so it's Wu Wednesday. You did a track Wu Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? Like you fucking clearly fuck with the Wu. So we're gonna talk some Wu shit.
Oh word.
Yeah, so few questions. So we're gonna play some games. So
okay.
I'll ask you, are they the greatest group ever?
Are they the greatest group? I mean, obviously for me they have a huge influence. That's why I made Wu Wednesday. So to me personally, in my opinion, yes, because I think they're the most impactful, if that makes sense. I think as far as like global reach, like you could go anywhere in the world, and if you show somebody the Wu-Tang symbol, they know, 9 times out of 10, they'll know what it is. But also on another level, I think like when you look at it, maybe their group albums haven't always been the best, aside from Enter the 36, obviously, because that was the first album. Some of the other albums were like subpar, but they were like gems on it. There were certain songs that were like gems. But when you look at the individual members and the people's careers that spurred out from that crew, I think you have to say they're probably, if they're not the best group, they're probably one of the most successful. When you look at like people like Ghostface, Method Man, RZA, like motherfuckers made whole careers out of just from the music, and they spanned off into other things. But for me personally, I think they're the most influential. I don't know if they're the best per se, but I do love Wu-Tang, man. I'm diehard Wu-Tang. I love a lot of like, the older shit more so than the newer shit that they've released. But I mean, there's still some gems, like Ghostface is still really active, and he be coming out with some good shit here and there. I think the Czarface shit, like that Inspector Deck's been doing, is fucking fire. Like, you know what I mean? He kind of found another lane and another niche with the Czarface and the comic book shit. And he's just a fucking assassin. Mm-hmm. Like, Deck is one of my favorites. He's just, I don't even think I've ever heard that dude spit a whack verse. Not that I can think of.
Listen,
that motherfucker, he always comes correct, Yeah. So, as far as impact goes, I'd say yes.
No, I agree with you. Okay, because what you said, I want to touch on what you said. You said you don't know if they're the best. Then, so if they're not the best, then who would you say is the best? Because to me, they're also the best and the most impactful.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess it depends on people's like preference. I listen to a lot of Boot Camp Click too. So Like when I listen to Boot Camp Click, I love Black Moon. I love Helter Skelter. I love Sean P, obviously, you know what I'm saying? So like I listen to a lot of Boot Camp Click too, and I think they're comparable. You know what I'm saying? They might not be as impactful as Wu-Tang, but I think they have a lot of fucking underrated material, man, that gets overlooked. Like I really, really love Boot Camp Click.
I got them like 1A. I mean, so I feel you.
Yeah, that's kind of how I look at it too, you know. I kind of like I like to listen to them like I got to be in certain moods, you know what I'm saying? So Wu-Tang, Boot Camp Click, it depends on what kind of mood I'm in, you know what I mean? Like I think they're similar in certain aspects, but the only difference is I think Wu-Tang, like some of their stuff, they've kind of made like some commercial shit. They've reached for like radio on certain things, like RZA, Ghostface. They've reached for radio certain times, but like Boot Camp Click, I feel like they've always kind of stayed in their realm, if that makes sense. So it depends on what mood I'm in, but honestly, you can't go wrong with either.
I think it depends on the criteria you're using. I mean, like, because some people have Public Enemy. I mean, I think Public Enemy might be the most important group of all time. You know what I'm saying?
So you know what? That's a great point because they don't get enough credit, and I think Public Enemy they're probably one of the most influential too.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
Like, so when you look at not just what they were talking about lyrically and shit like that, and like the upliftment aspect and like just, you know, the political aspect, but also their fucking production was outrageous, bro. And that shit gets so slept on. And it makes me mad sometimes because like I feel like Chuck D don't get enough credit too, you know? I think his voice is one of the dopest ever.
Of course.
Just his tone and the way he delivers shit, he gets your fucking attention, like just bass. Like when he just says shit, it's just like, oh man, you know,
death row.
It should be, his voice. You can't mistake him for anybody else, and there's something to be said about that. But also too, just their production, the lyrical content. So I agree with that too. You know what I mean? They're definitely one of the more important groups. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm gonna ask you this: if you had to take somebody out of Wu, who would you take out? Why?
Oh shit!
Why?
Damn, wow, you putting me on the spot. This is hard, bro.
Who would you take out? Why? And who would you replace him with?
Oh shit! Damn, that's a good fucking question. All right, let me really think about this because
I will fire this L up while you ponder.
Let me take a sip of my drink real quick.
Where my Jeopardy shit at? Yeah, work. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so if I had to replace somebody, like remove somebody and put somebody else in.
Yes, and and the criteria is they have to be a Wu affiliate. That you replace them with.
All right. So now are we considering like somebody like Capadonna? Is he considered official, is he like
as of 2014? He's an official Wu member. So yes.
All right. So let me see.
And we'll obviously consider you know what I'm saying, Old Dirty. So it's all 10.
Okay. So, man, this is tough, man, because they all have a certain thing that they bring to the table.
Facts.
I guess it depends on like what you're looking for. For me personally, I think it would be.
I said you got to go with. To whoever just commented, "Where's my killer tape?" I said you got to go with a Wu affiliate.
Yeah.
You got to listen.
So I'm gonna say it's a tie between U-God and Master Killer for me.
We don't do ties here. You know that, man. Fuck out of here. Who?
So for me, it's U-God and Master Killer. It's like a tie, and it's not that they can't spit or nothing like that. It's just like for what I look for, it's a little bit of a different feel, like what they bring to the table. That being said, though, Master Killer had a great first album with No Set Date.
Yes, he did.
You know, it was really underrated. So I like him, but like I look for somebody with a little bit more like energy and a little bit more like pep in their delivery. So for me, it's not like something I would listen to all the time. U-God is similar. Like I feel like U-God's like kind of hit or miss for me. Like there's times where he's really on and I'm like, oh shit, he killed that verse. And then there's other times I'm like, he could have been a little bit better. Why didn't he do it like he did that other verse? So it's probably between those two. And if I had to replace them with somebody, I'd probably say Redman, honestly, because I know Redman's like, they said he's like officially Wu. I love Redman. Redman's like he's in my top 5. So to me, I think naturally he would fit in perfectly because he's just got the good footwork. What is it?
Other than him, I'm talking cats that was like Wu cats that was put out by the Wu, like Sons of Man, fucking Royal Fam,
Okay.
Shaheen,
all right.
Killer Army. Cats.
So let me see. Yo, you know who I sweat low key and he doesn't get enough credit?
Oh.
Holocaust.
Oh, he's nice.
Remember Holocaust?
Yeah, nice.
I love Holocaust. Yo, I don't know why, but his voice and like his delivery and shit like that, and the shit he would say, I for some reason I thought he was so dope. And nobody really sounded like him. So I would like to see him in there just to see him like what he would do like on that spotlight. Because when you rhyming with 8 other dudes that are like killers, you have to come correct every time. Right, you know what I'm saying? Right. So I would want to see him in there. So either him or I would say maybe Shaheen.
Yeah, all right.
Because I feel like Shaheen was kind of like the adopted son of Wu. You know what I mean? And he never got like his just due because he was like in and out of jail and shit. So I would like to see him get like a full shot, like with the crew.
Yeah, Shaheen was supposed to get signed by Jay-Z. Did you know that?
Yeah. I mean, he had the buzz since he was young. He was spitting some shit.
Yeah, he was the nicest one to me on that Show Improve shit that they did.
Yeah. Yo, he was nice. Yo. And the thing is, like, you know, life shit got in the way and all that, obviously, as it does, you know what I mean? But if he got, like, a full-fledged shot, you know what I mean? I think he'd be a killer. Like, he's still a killer.
His are some slept-on classics. Big up Shaheen. We did an interview with him, and it's up on the YouTube. And, you know what I'm saying? He's doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? He came home. He's doing his thing. He's a good dude, man. So, you know what I'm saying? Big up to him.
That's what's up.
All, you know what I'm saying? Respect due to him. So, all right. So, let's talk about the most before we get out of it, because we got Instagram be cutting me off, and we got a show coming up right after this. But your most recent joint, Revolutionaries. What went into that? You understand what you mean? Godilla, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So me and Godilla, we used to work on music back in the day, and basically we had put out, you know, a few mixtapes, our crew, the Mike Murderers. So I had another side crew called the Mike Murderers, and it was just like friends and shit, you know what I mean? Like we were just, you know, friends and stuff, and we decided like yo, let's make some music together. And you know, we hadn't made music in a while, and Illa was sending me shit when I was on tour with M-Dot. We were in Germany. This was right around the time we were releasing Jumpstart and Rapscallions and all that, and he was sending me some music, and he was like, yo, check out this new shit I'm doing. And I just heard the growth, and we hadn't done music in a few years, and I was like, yo, when I get back, let's work on something, you know what I mean? And he was like, oh, yeah, word. But he didn't think it was going to happen because it had been years since we had done anything together. And then when I came back, I legit reached out to him. I emailed him. I was like, yo, let's do this shit. And then he just started coming down for sessions to the crib. And that's how the album was born, basically. And we just started, we took a year and a half, man, just sitting there and fucking just coming up with concepts, writing, you know, recording shit, re-recording shit, mixing shit again, you know what I'm saying? So it was a process, and it was dope because we just have a good chemistry, man. You know what I mean? So the chemistry.
Where's he from?
So he's from Clinton, Mass, but originally he was born and partially raised in Philly. So he moved from Philly. He's like me, that we have a lot of similarities. He moved from Philly young, and then came to Mass, and he's been here ever since. So we linked up through mutual friends, and that's how we started making music. But this album, you know, it was the first time me and him really like did a full project where we just like we had the intention of making something like really special, and also like to put out to the masses, because we had done mixtapes and shit before, but like it wasn't like serious like that. We throw it online and whoever fucked with it. You know what I'm saying? But this one we had like a whole game plan for it.
Yeah, I peeped that. Yeah, I saw the logistics behind that. You know what I'm saying? And gotten a lot of buzz. You know what I'm saying? It seems like it's been doing well. Some joints on it I like. Seems like it's been doing well.
Yeah.
For you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I appreciate that. Yeah, you know, it's been doing well. We dropped Wu Wednesday. That was the first single. That got a lot of love. You know, we're both really inspired by Wu-Tang, you know what I'm saying? We grew up listening to a lot of Wu-Tang, obviously. And that was just paying homage, man, like showing love to a crew that inspired us and shit like that. So we did that, and then we did Dream Chaser, which was a, you know, a different vibe, more like new age and shit. But we just kind of wanted to show that we could do that too, and also too, like, still maintain like some type of substance behind it. So the song really has like just talking about like us chasing our dreams, pretty much. You know, anybody that's been in that position knows like when you're trying to achieve something, how that is. And we got another joint, actually, now that I think about it, we got a video for A Game dropping next week.
Okay.
So we, with the joint A Game on the album, we did a video for it. And the shit's hilarious. It's much like the I Been video, the bowling video, where we're, you know, we're on the joint. But this video is where basically, I don't know if you ever seen Pain and Gain with The Rock and fucking Mark Wahlberg. It's basically, they're running like a gym, and they do like some extortion shit, and basically are trying to extort some dude so they can get money to like start their own business. So that's kind of like the basis of this video. We're trying to basically start like a fitness program and a gym and shit. So we kind of do like that. And so it's got like funny elements, because like I told you before, I like videos like that De La Soul and people like that used to do, where it has that humor aspect. So you could watch it over and over, and it's not just spitting. There's an element of like, you know, humor and shit that people can replay value, basically, you know?
Yo, before we get out of here, one last question. It's always important to me, like, to understand, why do you do this right now, man? Why you make music? Everybody's doing this. Everybody and your mom's doing it. You know what I'm saying? Some people shouldn't be doing it. Like, why do you do it? Like, what do you get out of it? What's the motivation for you? You know what I'm saying, at this point for you?
Man, I just love the creative process, bro. That's really what it comes down to. I love sitting in a room and just thinking of a concept. I love listening to a beat and getting excited and coming up with ideas and shit like that. You know, sometimes it's harder than others, but, you know, overall, it's something that makes me happy. That's really what it comes down to. And I try to just make the music that I enjoy. And if people connect with it, they do. That's a bonus. You know what I'm saying? But like, really, it's just something therapeutic for me. And I know that shit's like cliche, but like, if I didn't have music, I'd probably be doing some other fuck shit. So like, music keeps me grounded. You know what I mean? It makes me whole. It gives me an outlet. And it's something it's always been a part of my life, like since I was like 13, 14. I couldn't envision life without it. So even like if I stopped rapping, I'd be involved in something with music, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's fucking, you know, DJing or fucking writing about like music or whatever, it'd be something.
Word. No, that's what's up, yo. I mean, it's about just doing what you love, man. And that's how I feel about shit. Like, just whatever comes, but I'm gonna do it because I love to do it, and we'll see what chips fall where they may. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly,
it's about the journey, and for me, at this point, it's about the journey. It's about the doing. People forget that it's about actually doing.
Yeah,
it.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. For sure. And I appreciate you, brother, and everything you do, man, and like what you bring to the culture, and as far as like just fucking giving spotlight to artists and shit like that. These platforms, things like this, it helps people, especially indie artists, you know what I mean? Like giving us a voice, sharing our music, putting new people onto our shit, you know what I mean? Like people like you are the reason that we're able to even fucking want to keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, like, I'll be honest with you, obviously everybody wants it to be like lucrative, but I don't envision myself being a millionaire from this shit. I just want to be able to do what I love and then take that, whatever I make from it, and put it back into it, you know? And people like you make that possible because you be able to share you know, shit that we do with other people. You know what I mean? And then they get put on, and maybe they cop some merch, maybe they cop an album, whatever, and then we could keep going.
No,
you know what I mean?
no word. I
So I
appreciate you, man.
you.
And it's important because everyone thinks because I'm older that it's like, yo, yeah, I'm the older. I fuck with the old shit. Everybody knows that. But it's like, I realized a few years ago that this shit is still alive and well, and there's a lot of dope artists out there. And so it's like, yo, put the shine on that shit. So that's the balance in the page and what we and everything we do, and that you're a part of. Thank you for being a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the balance, yo. It's like, yeah, we keep the old shit alive. We push the culture. We push the real shit from back in the day, and we give, you know what I'm saying, love to our predecessors. But at the same time, we got this shit is still going, man. That's why it's right there. The fucking shit. That's why we're all doing this shit, because the B-boys are still doing it. The writers are still out there. The DJs, of course, son. You already know. So salute. You know what I mean? So it's family. We got to get out of here before Instagram cuts me off. They're gonna give me the fucking shit. So it's been a pleasure, man. We're gonna have to do it again. And when I get up to CT again, we got to link up. I told Doug I'm coming up to Boston. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, you're gonna come out for the Artifact show, right?
I was gonna try, but I think I'm gonna have my daughter that weekend, so it's not gonna be able to happen. But we still gotta set something up regardless.
Yeah. We'll link, brother. Thank you for having me, man.
No doubt, because I'm always up there to see my grandson now. So I'm gonna be up there, and we can link up. You know what I'm saying? So
all right, brother.
So thanks to everybody joining in. This was episode 61 of Man Revelation, Boston, New Bedford, the Bronx. He don't got that fucking weird ass accent. M. Dot, I love you, but fuck the Red Sox. And you know what I'm saying? Fucking carrying the culture. We get up with my man Rev. Everybody, all right, salute. Be good.